Morning, folks. Alright. It's approaching midnight here, so I'm just going to jump into this one. We did have a brief look at this last week, and it's a 1708 that's running slow, but I wasn't sure whether it was CPU, logic board or solid state testing, so I couldn't find my solid state drive and cleaned up the workshop and actually found it just now, so now I can actually get on with this. First thing I have to do, take this one off. I really do not like taking these drives off because this seal, whatever it's made with, it never goes back to what it was. So it doesn't matter how neatly or anything, not that I'm doing a neat job right now, doesn't matter how neat a job you do, the adhesive is done. As soon as you open it up, it's done. It never goes back. I mean, you can sometimes try and partially get it back with a bit of heat, but you're kidding yourself if you think it's going to last for long. I just realised I've still got screws in it. Warren, Arnold, GD, Sam, Miles, Greg. Imagine, actually there's probably more people watching Adam and IT doing their computer rework, whatever they're doing. Beating up a poor innocent machine, I dare say. Alright, what's this? 1464. To be sure that I don't lose it. Or rather, I may lose it. But at least I can find it again. Adam IT is not on for another 45. Oh, okay. Oh. Hey, Pablo. Well, there you go. I've got 45 minutes to try and get this done. Because then, once they start, I need to go and troll them as much as I possibly can. And it's my solemn duty as a prior convict of their nation to make sure they pay for their misdeeds. And yeah, mocking people is certainly one of a fine way of doing that without upsetting them too much. Kind of hoping I'll have a success with this. It's been languishing here a bit too long. Like I said, I was waiting to try and find my damn test drive. Like I said, I don't know which side of the equation that this is going to... Wait, we don't want that first. Yeah, we don't know which side it's going to be resting on. It could be battery, it could be a sensor. Yeah, there's so many things it could be. And I do believe I booted it into my diagnostic stick, but I couldn't find anything definitive at that point. It's very hard when you can't find a definitive fault. Yeah, it can, like I said, there's so many possible things that could cause it. I mean, the battery itself looks and feels pretty good. There's no puncture marks on the flex. That's another possibility. So it's a bit of a tricky one. It'd be nice if, before they got sent to me, a little more diagnostics was done. A little more differential testing. Okay. I don't recall what I have on this test drive of mine. Okay, looks like that was the initial charge phase. Let's turn it on. I did spend today fixing up some more of my software, just making things like the multimeter on-screen display do automatic port checking, because I was running into the situation where Linux has some would call it a feature, some would call it an issue. You've got no guarantee of what serial port you're going to end up with being assigned to your devices. It's just luck of the draw on the boot. So I updated the software so that it will go through and analyze various attributes of the serial port to determine whether it was the one it's looking for the device or not. Hey Trupek, I can't pronounce your name properly, but from Poland, welcome. Hey Diatom, welcome you. PR's here. What is this? Data processors. Alright, looks like I probably could do well to format this, maybe. God damn it. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to just completely factory reset this one. At which point I'll find out that it's probably got a password lock on the drive and I'll never be able to unlock it and yada yada yada. Okay, where's this? Arnold, that was a bit naughty of you. You're not supposed to shill other people's channels. Windows kind of does that too. You have to reset your ports every time when you use Material Mode. Oh really? Okay, I always thought that Windows was a little more consistent. But maybe I'm more thinking of the old days where you actually had serial ports built into the machine. Whereas I suppose these days, 90% of the serial ports you encounter are going to be USB based. I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, bringing in some new blood's always welcome. It did kind of take a while there, but it may be... Actually, no, it was on the Apple logo. Okay. Is there a fast way I can refresh this machine without actually having to reinstall everything? What is it? Command option R. That's probably going to be internet. Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. Log in to the single user, then remove the old user. Can I do that even if I'm not the administrator? Because I don't know the original password. Hey Tony W. Unfortunately, Pram Reset won't change the, what do you call it, the user accounts. Command option RP. What? Oh, that's Pram Reset. No. What's that? Used to be able to boot to R, recovery, then console. Suppose we can try that. We'll just try that. Straight recovery and then console. Oh, Anton. Betcha that's just gonna boot normally. Oh, in recovery, ask. Okay, great. We just wasted 3 or 4 minutes there. Oh well. To be clear, this is not the customer's drive. Okay, the customer's drive is safely over here, away from my dangerous fingers. Now that just went straight into them. Yeah. All right. Shut down. It will boot from an external SSD. Yes. Like I can, boot my test drive. Can I, like, if this was Linux, I would be able to reset the internals. From an external drive. Command R combination. Oh, damn it. And what will reset password give me? Will it actually just like wipe that whole password, or what's going to happen? Seems like an awfully easy way of bypassing security. Hey, Rilla. By the way, no promises or anything like that, but I think it's about time that I got all the cat hair off my shirt. Anyway, I think it's about time that I looked at doing a flexboard view video. Something that sort of advertises flexboard, it shows what it can do. But I don't know if I'm the right person to do that, so I'm going to have to start looking around for someone who can do that sort of production value thing. I mean, if I do it, it's just going to come off as contrived, cheesy. But at the same time, it's I don't want to do free work or take random contributions from people, because people put work into that stuff for free, and then if it's not what you're looking for, you kind of like have to go, yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, it's not what I was envisaging. It doesn't hit the mark for me. And you've put all that time and effort in. Yeah, it feels really bad. So it's kind of easier if I contract someone and they come up with the concepts, and then I go, I want that concept there, and at least it's picked. We're both going down a certain path, because I mean there are people who put a hell of a lot of effort into things, and I appreciate the effort they put in. But at the end of the day, I've still got to make sure that it suits what I want to project. So yeah. License with transfer. Most of the people probably already have a license. Who would you use to advertise? Lewis actually wouldn't be a bad person. He did in the past, but he's not really the right person for the advertising side of it. He has his promotional exposure role that he plays, and he did a fantastic part with that. I could never really pay him back for the exposure that he's given to me and the software. But it's not quite the same as having a video that I'd say put on the site that demonstrates the capabilities of it. Alright, now let's see what I can do about this. Can I do anything from this? Actually, let's see if it even shows me the drive. God damn, their click is useless. Is it Macintosh? Yeah, it looks like I can see their accounts. I've got all their accounts there. So there's probably nothing I can do here because I haven't loaded up their system. You can go into the drive, user bin, and remove setup done. Oh, okay, well now I can find that. Let's see. System. Wait, what? User bin. Okay, maybe you've been on that one. Hey, Patrick. Apple's setup done. So volumes name drive, blah 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 blah. Oh, it's a hidden one. Okay. So, view. I thought it had a option where you can open a terminal at this location. Clearly not. Let's see. Volumes, Macintosh, hard drive. Now let's see. var db. Okay. rm.apple. Okay, I've got it here. I'm actually just going to rename it. Won't let me. Now let me. Okay, I've done that. Yep. Let's see if that worked. Let's see, Miles. Speaking of Flexboard View, is there a way to tie notes to a job number or something? I usually like to right click on pads, note and voltages. Yeah, if you just simply go, once you create a job for it, anything that you put in terms of annotations, they should be exclusive for that job. I gotta clean up that whole job system though. It was done spur of the moment and it's a little bit clunky and ambiguous with a couple of the fields. So it needs to have a bit of a polish. But yeah, once you create a job and you start punching in all the details, they should be unique to that job. And when you load the board up with another thing, it shouldn't show up. If you want something to persist, you have to put it into annotations or OB data. Hey, Q's. Yeah, we're booting now. The Paul Klavik. How have you been adding those notes, Moles? Hey, Prater. Because yeah, usually once you create the job, then the notes should be unique to the job. And then it'll have those little markers all over where they were. There's a bit of a bug somewhere in there because sometimes the markers do not appear where they should. It's like they seem to be offset by some arbitrary distance and it's annoying. Okay, English. Australian, mate. So yeah, if there is anyone out there who does do or is interested in doing sort of a Flexboard View advertising, like it's not really advertising, it's more of like I said, when you go to the website, people are kind of curious, well, what does this do? Send me an email. My web address has the email and all that, and see what we can think of. Like I said, I've got no problem paying. It's just a case of I worry that, well, it's not something I've normally done. So, yeah, I'm not too sure how to convey like what ideas I might have, or who knows. Intro to Flexboard View. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good idea. What's this network connection? It doesn't matter anyway. You can't really resell licenses. I mean, I suppose I can say. Um, I suppose what I can say is, sure, I can give you like 4 or 5 licenses or whatever, and then as you do sort of find a victim for it, you can then pass those details on to me, and then I can create the license and tick it off your payment list. I suppose we could do it that way. Martin S. What's this diagnostic USB? What diagnostic USB are you guys talking about? GD Tech do advertising video, that kind of thing? Or, just that sort of stuff. Like I said, the biggest problem in all this is, see, normally when you go to a large advertising firm and you pay large amounts of money, they present to you multiple ideas and you go, let's go down that route. But when we're dealing with smaller situations like this, it's almost like it almost feels like it has to be right the first time, or somebody's going to get upset. Hey, Joe. That was great. I'm going to have to remember that trick in future, because that saved a lot of time. Let's. Alright, so, well, to be honest, this thing is behaving pretty good, so I'm starting to think it is a shonky, shonky one of these. Maybe I should actually load it up with Ubuntu and then do a performance test through Ubuntu on that drive. I'm trying to think what I can install here. Hardware sensors are probably one of the first things I should install. HW info. Oh, not connected to the internet. What a joke. With regards to security, that's why in most cases we always usually like to say, if you have physical access to the machine, it's over. And I suppose on the back of that mindset is why companies like Apple have done a lot of the things that they've done, where even when you have the physical machine in your hands, it's still useless, which is very annoying because many times you want to recover people's information and they like give you the machine and it's like, well, can't do anything with it. Black screen glitch a second ago. It could have been capture card related, maybe. I am running the Blackmagic card at the moment. I'm not running the AJA one. So I didn't run into any encoding, glitching type issues with the AJA, but I know the Blackmagic can have some hiccups every now and then. Does your source code have good comments that you could strip out, or would that reveal too much? Which source code? You talking Flexboard View source code, or are you talking whatever else? There's plenty of Flexboard View code that's junk as anything. Where the hell is my download. I hate SourceForge. Hate it with a passion because they just, yeah, all this download hurdles that you have to jump through and the delays and everything. It's just a pain in the ass. In fact, most of these goody good two shoes, freedom loving source sites and things like that, they're usually full of this sort of crap. Yeah, it's not very free. If like they really wanted to live up to their what they're trying to sell, the full freedom, they would just post it on GitHub or some other place where all you have to do is you click download, you download. There's no waiting, there's no watching adverts, there's nothing. It's just download and there. And yeah, they probably have to pay whatever they have to pay to maintain that site. You know, the yearly or monthly fee for the web page, just like I do at the moment for a few of them. But yeah, when they do this sort of like scammy shit where it tries to trick you to click things that you're not supposed to click, and it's on this free open source SourceForge where for the freedom, yeah, it kind of rubs you the wrong way, and it's like, you know what, you guys are just full of crap. You're not sincere. Two cows. I remember two cows. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tony. I mean, I've got plenty of code in Flexboard View that can easily be, shared and shown or whatever. I can put in any comments or I can take out any comments. I can have comments in there like scam Lewis Rossman with this bit of code. Good wholesome stuff like that. I mean, I pay a monthly fee to GitHub for all the things I do because I am a commercial entity. Sensors are all fine, fans fine, so it doesn't look like it's a board issue. It really is looking like it's a drive issue. The trick is you can't get external mounts or housings for these particular drives. If you want to data recover off these drives, you basically just need to have a 1708. Good reason to keep a 1708. I will get the valley test. Yeah, good old Rossman becoming a Texan now. Well, now long before he starts having an everyday carry. Two cows are still a major domain registrar. Okay. Yeah, I've never used them. I have used some other places, but these days I've mostly consolidated to one of the more common ones. Tried to use a board file with OBV and it didn't write, so I thought OBV did not work, so I've tried different pieces. Maybe I should try another board. Joe, do you know what that board file was? I suspect if it didn't load in Open Board View, it's probably an Allegro binary one. Is this the other night's faulty camera? No, that faulty camera machine is actually fixed. Yeah, that was fun. That was a hell of a lot of fun. In the end, I'm not exactly sure what caused what, but we obviously had liquid damage, and then we had that clock, RTC clock capacitor that was doing its best to identify as a resistor with 150 ohms. And the camera issue was likely because I also had to change the USB ports on the card. And for those who aren't quite sure, with this board, the ports are soldered on. And so when you remove them, if you're a little bit not so careful, that's where the camera chip is, and the camera chip on the 840s is underfilled. And also it turns out the camera chip is actually also heat sensitive. So it's not so much that it's underfilled that is a problem. The problem is that the chip itself is literally sensitive to heat. So if you go over 330, certainly over 350, the chip will be damaged. So even if you take it off another board with your normal, like I would normally use 470, get them off the board pretty quick. And then what you find is that the chip doesn't work when you put it back on. So you have to do it all the slow, smooth, warm your way in, and take them off at about 330. It takes a lot longer, but yeah, once I did that and migrated a new chip, funnily enough, I took it from 1466. It worked fine. There were a few other issues. I then had the issue where it wouldn't actually turn on after you reassembled it. You plug in the USB and you hit the power. Usually that should bring it up, but it wouldn't. And again, I'm not 100% sure it's working now, but I suspect someone mentioned that the right-hand lid sensor can be that cause that problem, but it wasn't that situation for me. But the left-hand sensor is the little Hall sensor module on the corner here, and given that that's right underneath where the camera chip is, I thought there's a chance that maybe either liquid damage got in, because there was liquid all across here, or it had shifted due to me doing all of my rework. So I just took off the little bit of bonding that it has on the side and reflowed it, and yeah, it seems to be good now. So that was a very complicated board. That one had a lot of steps in it. Some of them were my fault, some of them were not, but in terms of economics, that was a complete frickin' disaster. Ironton, yes, you can actually. I do most of my reballing at 250. It's just a case of you have to wait more. The main reason why it seems like it doesn't work at the lower temperatures is because the board itself is sucking up all the heat, taking it away from the area, which is why we use the higher temperature, because we can load up that area with more heat faster than what the board can draw it away. But when you're doing it like 250 or 300, it really does take a long time. But yeah, normal solder, normal leaded 6040 or 6337, that will easily melt at 250, no problem there. You can try it yourself. Just get some solder paste, normal solder paste, hit it at 250. After a while it will melt. It's just all about patience. And the other proof of that is when we do reflow profiles, put a board with paste and parts on it and put it into the oven, we only go up to about 247. That's the maximum temperature typically, around about 247, 260, around about that. You don't go above that, but it works because the whole board, all the parts, they're all soaked up to that temperature. And the melting point of leaded is, 187 or something like that? Yeah. It's just a case of patience. Let's see, Valley. Freaking heck. Yes, the level of patience is directly proportional to how good that board is absorbing heat. Oh, not used to it being in full screen mode. I almost always do this as windowed. Whoops. CPU is overheating. No one cares about that. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, it's not really overheating. It's just like a 80, whatever. I love that a hardware monitor designed for Macs thinks that at 85 it's overheating. Stop it. We have to change that setting. Preferences. Do not warn me. Do not check for updates. Do start it at startup. Pop-ups. Graphs. Oh yeah, I'll do a full wipe. Yeah. Use a larger font because I'm a blind bastard. That's weird. How do I stop this from... There used to be a case where you could just tell it to not make alerts. Preferences. Because that's really ticking me off. Oh, here we go. Show notifications. It was right there in front of me. It's not overheating. We're doing 30 plus frames per second. I'm definitely going to have to put this down to just being a drive failing on them. Do you plan to return the overhead camera view to normal orientation? Yes, I do, because I've just got to get a proper camera stand. I just didn't have one. The only articulating arm I had was only about 2 foot long. I need something that's closer to 3, maybe 4 foot long. And I just don't have that on me at the moment. But yeah, I will. Now, battery seems fine. Yeah, everything's running fine. It seems quick enough to me, so yeah, blame it on the drive, which is boring. Of course, what's going to suck is if they get it back and they change the drive and it's still poor performance. What I will do is I will put this... I'll put their drive back in, and then I will boot into Ubuntu, and I will do a DD rescue off to the external drive and see what the performance looks like there. That'll give me a much better idea. Why not run Victoria in that SSD instead of... Well, that's what I'm saying, I've got to put this back in and test it. I don't know what Victoria is though. But I would prefer to do the testing using something like DD Rescue, because at least that way I'm making a backup of their data as I'm stressing their drive. Pardon me. As opposed to stressing their drive and it goes blunk, and then they go, well, we haven't got a backup, can you back it up for us? And I'll go, oh yeah, whoops, sorry, it's dead. At least I can run Ubuntu on these ones. I don't know if DD Rescue is even available for macOS. Is it? I haven't checked. I mean, it might be possible. I mean, it is, you know, mostly POSIX based code. Hello, there's Yang Zishi. Actually, I don't know how you prefer to have your name pronounced there. Do you have the Pinyin version of it? Then I might have a chance. Not that I'm very good with replicating the tones, the three tones. I do an excellent job of muddling them all up. Yeah, I know, that's how I generally like to do it. Or, well, actually, my preferred method is to DD rescue to a file, an image file, so to speak. And then I can do whatever I've got to do with that image file and take it to a new drive if I have to, or resize it. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to feel a bit cheated though. I feel like I want to fix something, as opposed to just decide something's not fixable. What do we got? Well, I guess we've got the A1932 that just completely befuddles me. Miles, you don't know how good or bad my Chinese is. I can tell you right now, it's terrible. I'm learning every day with Duolingo, but I forget pretty much more than I learn every day. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'm trying. Got to be prepared for the new overlords. Okay, so this mongrel of a thing is just, it's weird. This is the weird one that sort of works, sort of doesn't. It comes up, like if we look at the USB-C graph, see, it does this business where you think, yeah, it's going to work, and then it just goes blah and drops out. Yeah, like that. Now I kind of feel like it's probably file system related. Either that or it can't see the SSD. I just don't know. But yeah, I've Duolingo, like I'm on my 7-day streak now, so soon I'll be quitting again. I'm trying not to. Some of the lessons you sit there and they really hurt your head, and I suppose that's a good thing. That's when you're supposed to apply yourself. But the trouble is, I sort of go along and just try and do 5-minute, 10-minute little lessons, and you don't get a lot of traction that way. Yeah, not even an Apple logo. Like I can hold down, let's see, control, and every now and then I'll get keyboard up. Like they'll get a cap locks, and that's about it. So I don't know how many different issues I'm dealing with here. I don't know if I've got a bad screen, or it's just, yeah. Miles, that's quite possible, and I'd say the first hardest is probably English. English is just English is just nasty. It's a nasty language. I'm very thankful for having been born into it, but it's nasty. Yeah, because there's very few rules that are actually rules. They're more like everything is just a pile of exceptions, with one exception being more important than another exception. Yeah, what the hell is going on with this machine? English, yeah. Scene adapters, yes, you're right. There are adapters that allow you to put an NVMe into the 1708. So, yeah, it might be possible to go the other way. All I know is that they're just generally not available at this point. Portuguese. I learned most of my Portuguese when I was in South Africa. What's one thing I know? Bom Provito. Yeah. If it's at Nando's, I probably learned it. Nando's is perhaps one of South Africa's greatest exports. Yeah, so what the hell is wrong with this thing? I just don't know. It driving me absolutely balmy. It's like I said, it feels like it's getting there and then crashing out. Are the NANDs dead? I don't know. It's annoying as feck. The fact that I cannot even get anything on the screen is very frustrating. I'll just try and plug in a external USB drive and pull up an option key. The other thing is I can see the screen will energize, de-energize, energize, de-energize. Which means backlight's probably working. Actually no, that's not true. Yeah, I should check the SSD rails. Yeah, see, okay, look, we've got cap locks here. See? So we've got nothing on screen. At this point, I would have expected at least, if nothing else, just a bar there to say, choose your network if it couldn't find any other device. And there really is nothing at all on the screen. I mean, it's difficult to spot stuff on the screen like this, but you can usually pick it out. Like, even just the presence of anything, even a cursor you can occasionally see. But there is nothing. So I kind of wonder if the CPU's just cactus on this. So start checking some reals. Oh shite. Yep, that's always good. Measuring voltage with ohms mode. Sure way to ruin your meter. Okay, 0.65. Fan's picking up. Okay, I've got nothing on that one. That's probably going to be a graphics rail. And nothing. I'm going to guess these two are graphics. And 0.65 for those two there. The fan's definitely kicking up high speed. Oh dear, wow, yeah, nothing's on screen, I see. Sorry folks, let me fix that. There we go, everything's on screen now. Just going to bring up this board. Actually, which board is this? This is 1958? And I'm not even running on the right job data. Okay, just hang on a second. Okay, 1922, so it should be a 1521 board. Nanton, no, this is not the same. This is a completely different machine. This is a A1932 MacBook Air. Alright, so we're getting voltage down here. Okay, so CPU cores present. And yeah, CPU GT, so that'll be GPU. We've got no GPU core. Could that be the problem? Is the GPU dead? Resistance mode? 4.5. It's actually pretty decent, 4.5. Six for the CPU. They're actually reasonable values. Yeah, GD Tech, you know, Travis is going to be mad at you for saying that, but this is actually one time where it might be slightly valid. Oh, that's right. The only thing that we had on this is that we did get some liquid damage up by the backlight area, but again, it's cleared up. Doesn't feel like it's actually a backlight failure. It doesn't behave like that. That's right, we don't even get any external display. That's the other problem. So normally you could plug these into an external display and get something coming up, but this doesn't give me anything. The other problem is that it did periodically before come up, for a few seconds, like maybe 10-20 seconds, show a loading bar or something like that. Now it doesn't do anything at all. So whatever it is, it's getting progressively worse. Maybe I should just stick it in the reflow oven and bake it at 450°C for 5 minutes. I've heard stories about the heatsink sometimes shorting on the caps, but it doesn't look like it's anything like that. Check the PMIC. Throw it in continuity mode. Yeah, GD Tech, that's probably about the way it goes in terms of emotions. Unlikely to be mux because we would at least get GPU voltage, and we're not. So either it's not getting to that point, or yeah, I just don't know. You can see a few of these are actually ganged together. 504. It's actually a pretty high resistance for that. So 0.27. Yeah, that's, according to this, that should be more like 1.8 ohms. That's definitely high resistance. I'm going to double check that. Okay, 500 ohms. What is this? 1v1. 0.267. We'll try in diode mode in case maybe the data was dodgy. Hey Poglik, does the chipmunk react properly? No, I haven't even plugged in the chipmunk on this one. 0.25. Okay, so that's right. The ohms seems wrong. Not sure why that is. Yeah, because 0.27 does not translate to 1.87 ohms. This is VDD awake 0.013. Yeah, that's about right. I have to push the magic button on the motherboard for what behavior? Yeah, I'm going to have to check these values because the diode mode seems right, the voltage is probably right, but the resistance is completely whacked. Because the resistance and the diode mode, they are fairly correlated. If you understand how it is that we get diode mode values, then you understand that the resistance would be proportional. C3, we'll do 0.38. Yep. 0.96. Yeah, it's a little on the lower side, but I'm going to let it pass for the moment. As for this one here, core primary, we're going to, yeah. The data is user submitted. So basically, people all contribute data as they find it. Like if I get a new board that hasn't been done before, then I can go along and put data in. So 0.41, that's close enough. Pretty much on the mark, in fact. 0.373. Yeah. I wonder if this person, whoever put it in, I wonder if it's a few decimal places out or something. I'm starting to contemplate that is actually what's going on. 500. No, not even close. Well, I'll have to revisit those. Arnold G, you watching Adamant IT? Let's see if we get any SSD rails coming up. Give us an indication at least if we're dealing with a dead as a doornail system in terms of the drive or not. There's a defect on 2 of those pins, but that's not going to actually affect our situation. Is there any data validation? Anton, basically over time, it's just a case of bad values will get washed out by good values. It's just cannot speak. It is a statistical thing. So outliers are tossed out, but it's a little bit early at the moment for tossing out the outliers. We don't have enough overlapping data, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I agonized over many different techniques for doing this, and I really did not want to have too many humans involved. I didn't want people having to, manually double check that data all the time, other than just the occasional situation. So ultimately, in terms of the first couple of passes of data, it's better just to accept everything and just toss out the outliers. If there is a person who, say, floods everything with dodgy data, intentionally dodgy data, that's fine, because we can just blacklist everything that they submitted. It doesn't go into the system and get amalgamated with everything else. All of their entries remain unique, uniquely logged, so we can always go back and just scratch their contributions out. But yeah, any other technique for trying to manually verify data, it just isn't going to work out. Sorry, I'm just digging around trying to find my SSD rails here. Queues, I really am trying. I really have to. Like I said, I've mentioned it in previous videos, it's one of these strange mental blocks or something, and every time I go to do it, I just sort of stumble on that. So, message me again. I'm genuinely sorry. Yeah. It's all done. That's the stupid thing. It's all done. But now that I've got the new ticketing system for the postal deliveries, maybe it actually will get done. And yeah, it's as much a pain to me as it is for you waiting. Because like I said, they're all done. All the boards are built, all the packages are done. Like I haven't actually put them in the boxes and sent them off yet, but everything that needs to be sent is ready to be sent. I know it sounds really dumb, but it is funny. Well, not really funny. It's unfortunate how you can get these scenarios creep up on you a lot. So believe me, I'm not proud of it. I am glad that the data's been added, but I'm still not. Why are you in frequency mode? God damn it. Yeah, okay, no SSD voltage there. Oh, now we do, and it's gone again. God damn it, I keep slipping because I'm an idiot. I don't know if you got a pulsar. I think it's just me. Okay, there we go. What happened there? There was a glitch on the rails when it did that. Hey, Stuart Menzies, Mr. Miser. Yeah, accused. Do that. Put a great big subject on it that will catch my attention. I really want to get it done because it's thorn in my side, it's a thorn in your side, it's a thorn in Sonia's side. Yeah, there's 15 odd people I've got to send it out to. And I'm just sitting on it and sitting on it and sitting on it. Okay, so we're looking 0.9 now up here. Yeah, 0.9. I'm just going to see that we are actually getting the rails to be expected. What other SSD? There should be okay, DDR. What if it's the DDR that's a problem? I just don't know. Hey, 6 Hills. Okay, let's just pick this chip here. I'll take you. What have we got? TV7. Okay, that's big chunky cap up here. Okay, that's an interesting one. That should be 2v7, or at least according to that. When it comes back, it's writing at 2.5. Well, it seems a little low. Yeah, 2.5, that's almost a 10% drift, and most of these things work in the 1% range. So I don't know, is it actually meant to be 2.5, or is it 2.7 okay? So it's something to look for. Okay, 1v8, 1v8, 2.7. So far we've got 0.9, 1v8, 2.7. Not seeing any other rails yet. Yeah, not seeing any others. So I guess the question is 2.7 what it's meant to be, or did they revise that and decide, you know what, 2.5 is actually what we want? Let's go 0.376 diode mode. Oops, wrong keys. .32. So it's actually, well, yeah, it's smidge lower than, but it's not what I would consider to be a problematic difference. Okay, resistance 390. Yeah, seems fine. So if it is intentionally doing 2.5, then yeah, just don't know. Unfortunately, there's no contribution for the voltage field there, unfortunately. Let's see. Okay, who generates that? U9060. You get that off PP bus. According to this, it should be 2.7, so we're definitely sagging on that. But it's not because of the rail load. Yeah, there's not there's insufficient load on that rail to make it drop. Just simply like, you know, losing 200 millivolts. That shouldn't be happening. So we could have a problem with one of the feedback resistors here. So one of these could be drifted out, and therefore it's shifting it to 2.5. So the easiest way for us to test that is just to rotate them off and measure them individually. It could be the controller itself. Where's this? Oops, U9060, where are you? Ah, joy, you're right about the T2. Okay, is there anything? And use the cat. So at this point, I'm going to go with rotating off the resistors and checking their values and see if any of them have drifted. We've had this sort of issue with 3V42 circuits in the past, like as in the ones for like on a A1466 and you need your 3.42 volts. We've had scenarios where it's like 3.35 or maybe even 3.5 volts. You know, it's gone out of whack by a bit, and it ends up being one of the resistors is just taking a walk outside of its tolerance range. Yeah, Anton, that's what I'm about to do. Oh, right, you mean the programming. These ones are programmed through the feedback. So that's what these resistors are here for. So these are the ones we're going to be looking for. The other possibility is that the coil is stuffed. It's not quite doing its job, and so even when it's maxed out, it just can't get to 2.7. That's a little less likely given that we're feeding in from PP bus directly, so disinclined to think that's going to be it. My first thought would be these ones here, so possibly something like one of these supercritical ones, these 9073, 9072. Anyway, let's get to it. So the first one is 9070, and that's sitting right underneath the chain. Yeah, it should be a tenner. We might just get them all shifted across. No point doing them one by one. We can do them all in one hit. Hey, James Ewing. I don't even know that if that's going to be even a problem. I mean, maybe the NANDs can run at 2.5. I just don't know. All I know is that it is different to what I would expect. It's never the coil until it is the coil, and then it's the coil. It's a bit like the fuse. It's never the fuse, and then one day it's a fuse, and it's like, ah. So to pop then. I'm kind of surprised. They're desoldering very quickly. A lot quicker than I'd expect. Miles I do, yes. But I don't have a functioning board. So all I can do is compare the resistor values at this point. Okay, 10 ohms is pretty much bang on. So that's trying to be a 1K, that's 9071. Alright, there we go. 9071 should be 590 ohms, but this is 1K almost. See how that's reading 1K? But according to the schematic, that should be 590 ohms. However, there is a possibility that the schematic is incorrect, that the schematic is just whatever we got given by Apple, so to speak. Not that we'd ever get anything from Apple, but so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this one and see if it's 1K as well. Because 1K is actually it's a pretty common value. It's not too different to what's on spec there. So again, I said there is a possibility that they changed things around, but they didn't update. Well, we didn't get the updated schematic. No frickin' surprises there. Very interesting. That also melted quickly. No, that's on omit table, so it actually, this is why I have to compare, because it may be that on that table it says change to a 1K resistor. We're about to find out anyway. Fantastic, it's open circuit. And that is bang on 590. So we may have found a possible cause. Alright, so that is definitely a 590. So 1K is a little weird. Hey there, Pionov. Bomb option set to NAND VCC 2v5. Let's have a look at that. Of course, this could have a different NAND setup. Oh, here we go. Here. No. So this is what I'm talking about. It's interesting though. None of them are an actual match though. So if we are on 2.5, then 71, we were on 1K. So that doesn't make any sense. Oh wait, no, 71, no. God damn it. Turn it the way up at the board in the schematic. And see what it's supposed to be. So bottom one, second from the bottom. And we're reading 1K, so 9071. Even at 976 ohms, that's not right. Because basically if we were on a 2.5 volt selection, then that resistor should be 590 ohms. But if we're on a 2.7, then that should be 976 ohms, which is still not 1K. And with the 1% tolerance on these, then 1% of 970, that's going to be 9 ohms, so it should be at the very most 985 ohms, which is still well short of 1K. I know it's only 15 ohms difference, but it's enough of a difference that the meter would pick that up. So we have a bit of a weird quirk here. We don't know whether... Well, I guess one thing we can do is if it's the 2.5 volt mode, then we will determine that based on R9072. So it's either going to be 21K or 23K, and that will tell us which way it is. So what was that? R9072, which is this one up here, which is the one closest to the chip. So depending on what's closest to the chip, assuming that it's not faulty itself, we will have an idea as to whether this is a 2.5 or a 2.7 configuration. Now if it is a 2.5 configuration, it kind of makes me... It just feels a little weird that we've still got this 1K resistor there where we're expecting a 590. Hello there, John. Welcome. Why not swap out the resistors for a known good one, testing it? Well, for the first thing is we don't know which selection we're on. And anyway, let's quickly test this. So we've got a 23K resistor here, 23.3. And a 23.3 means we are on a 2.5. Okay, that just makes it even weirder. That makes it very weird. Very, very weird. Because according to that table, we should then have a 590 for 71. which is this one, which we are measuring as 1K. Okay, let's have a look at what part that plays in. So, okay, so we've got 23, 48. Where's that going back to? 2v7. Okay, we'll call it 2v5 since it is now. What's this? BOS. And what's this FBR? Where do you go up to? No, I'd not say. Well, it's understandable that we're only going to get 2.5 still. Let's see, I'll go back to it. The reason being is that when you look at the relative sizes, so like you got, let's call it 50K, and let's say we've got a total resistance of around about 80K for the divider. 500 ohms is going to only shift that around about 0.25%. So that's why we're at 2.5, but we're not quite right still. So finding this 1K, if this turns out to be the fault, was merely an absolute fluke in this particular instance. We're going to change it. We're going to see what happens. I don't know. But it certainly shouldn't be 1K. Compare the NANDs. Means I've got to ruin the sticker on this one. But even still, okay, they are different NANDs. What is these? TSB 3325, 44227. Unless there's something else that changes R9071. Let's look for any other place that shows up. Okay, so it shows up there. That's it. There's only 3 places on the schematic where that resistor is referred to, and it's supposed to be 590. Let's see, these are 27. These are 25 and 25. So according to what you're saying, this should actually be a 2.7 board. This just gets more confusing now. What the hell? So are they're 2.7 volt chips, but the selection is a 2.9 build? Sorry, a 2.5 build? What the hell's going on? I'm just trying to find to see if I've got a third one of these 1521 boards around here. Just to give another point of confusion. Yeah, I got another one here. That resistor value might be critical, otherwise they wouldn't have put it into that table. Okay, what have we got here? We've got SanDisk this time. And the SanDisk doesn't even help us at all because it's got nothing like that. This is 1521? Yep, 1521. Well, I'm going to go and change this 1K back to 590 and see what happens. Hey Gavin Brown, not sure why. really don't know if I've got a 590 on hand, so I'm going to have to steal this one. Now this is going to be one of those times where the dreaded conical tip actually comes into play as a winner. This is why people who use iPhones use conical tips, because you can just dab little bits of solder onto those pads. Whereas you try to do that for chisel or a knife or anything like that, you can do it, but it's a lot harder. I found using the conical tip, it's just a walk in the park. Like I said, I was never a big fan of the conical tips because, like, if you're doing pin through or larger stuff, I always found that things like the solder would tend to draw onto the tip and then roll up the tip. I just did not enjoy them like most people. But when it came to dealing with very small scale pads and work, the conical tip is really a lifesaver. So yeah, don't knock it until you've had a chance to try it in these situations. I actually only bought the conical tip as a bit of I wouldn't call it a joke, but it was more of a, like, you know what, I'm just going to try this and see how it feels. And when I did, there was a few situations where I had to get little beads of solder on certain places. It changed my view on life. I'm just going to dive straight in with this. The other thing to note is that we saw that was a 1K, showing up as 1K resistor, and people will say, well, it's pretty close to a common value. But unfortunately, what I found when it comes to dividers and things like that is that Apple loves to use very obscure values. So in some ways, seeing a 1K resistor there is almost as much of a warning as not. I suppose I should get data protection in case this damn thing comes up. So let's get some data protection. I'm not showing anything yet. I'm going to guess probably nothing's going to change, but oh well. No, it's just cycling again. We've got trackpad click, but not much else. What I find interesting is if I do this like hold down option, it will get into a mode like where the cap locks is on, and while that cap locks is on, it continues to charge. It won't do the reset. So it's sort of like I said, you got cap locks. I mean, it's you don't get cap locks unless you're a fair way into something. Check the resistors blown again. That's true. Yeah. See if the regulator is actually at fault and damaging them. Yeah, like I said, you don't normally get a cap locks appearing unless you've got some sort of brain activity going on. It doesn't appear to be in a DFU mode. It's not behaving like DFU mode. And when I try to plug it in, and it just it doesn't really do anything with it. Does the cap locks react to the keyboard? Yeah, well, I mean, if I click it, then it will go off. Like, see? It's reacting to the keyboard as I do it. And trackpad's alive. And now, as soon as it comes off that cap locks for a bit and I click on something, it drops dead. So this one, it feels like it's a file system corruption issue or something. But I would expect at least to be able to bring up something on the screen. Anything. This is known good display. No, it's not actually. I'll put it into the other chassis and see if anything comes up there. Oh, maybe actually, wait, no, I did see the progress bar once before. Ow. Yeah, Anton, exactly. So it's very strange. It's why it's completely annoying the hell out of me. And unfortunately, I haven't yet provably shown that I have a known good working 1932 chassis. And so I'm kind of running around in the blind a little bit here. And I don't have a known working good 1932 board. So I'm kind of done over either way. I did try the external display and I didn't get anything. Okay, so we're going to try this one again. And that was with disconnecting the internal and going over to the external. We're not going to plug the battery in on this one because we can't get the battery to behave properly on this one. Hey babe. Oh, what's happened?
I got everyone in.
Oh, right.
But then Tiger was in the front yard.
Right.
And so I had to open up again because Micro and Loki were looking to spray.
Okay.
So now they're all back out.
Oh, great.
So I took more food out to the wildlings.
You should have knocked on the door and got me to deal with Tiger and stuff.
It was more the fact that because he was just there.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I could have gone out and dealt with the food and all that sort of stuff.
I'm more just saying because the boys got pissed off.
Yeah.
They were going to pee, so
Yeah.
I had to let them back in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't think you going out would have changed.
No. I was just more trying to save you the.
Well, I'm going to bed now.
I see at least Mo and Luna are still asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, back there. Let's see, get this back in installed. Let's see if we have any luck this time. If not, it's probably just time to go to bed. It's very frustrating, this one, whatever it is. That should do. Fingers crossed. No, same crap. I'll plug it into external, but don't have high hopes. Disconnect that. Disconnect the power screen. Plug in the external display. Plug in the power. That kind of helps if I plug in the screen power. Yeah, the board keeps resetting itself. I'm not sure why. I was hoping maybe we could also see if we see anything come up. I mean, it starts out, detects HDMI. Yeah, you see it glitch for a second and then it gives up. It's almost like there's something wrong with the GPU. But then the fact that I can hold it into, that's what I wanted to do, yeah. I'll just hold that, just hold it with the option key and see if anything shows up. Okay. Yeah, cap locks is on. So we've got a cap locks, but we've got nothing coming out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to just wind this one up and try again another day. Because it's 1:30 in the morning, so seems like Rails Club. Yeah, it's just weird. So, all right, well. Didn't have a win tonight, not like the other night, but still weird about that 590 versus 1K resistor. I'll dig in a bit more, I'll test that other board I've got see what its value is relative to the other two. Yeah, it's just weird. So I'm out of here. You take care. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.